Yes, I think it's working. Going live. First, I want to give a special shout out to my main man, Steve, for hooking me up with the background red because it pops. Guys, this is a very, very interesting and exciting set of topics here that I'm going to discuss today. They're very, very special to me. First of all, happiness is that's like all I want to talk about all the time. Hello, hello. If you guys can hear me, say hi. I'm really excited to do this live today. This is going to be great. Yes. All right, it's working. Very cool. So did a little poll in my group, and I said, if you had a genie and you could rub that lamp, what would you wish for? And the first thing everybody wished for was health. And the second thing everyone wished for was happiness. So you can tell, I mean, maybe my group is a little biased because they have, hi, Josephine, how are you? They have their priorities straight. You know, I got a good group. But I think that kind of goes without saying for like most people out there. They're hoping for, you know, at least good health, or trying to get healthier, and they'd love to have a happy life because it's really hard to find happiness in such a consumer world these days. So I figured I'd combine the two and show you guys how you can combine health and happiness in your lives without breaking the bank or really spending any money at all. Just with a little bit of practice, how you can increase your health and significantly increase your happiness. So if you guys can hear me okay, just say hi or send me an emoji or something like that so I know you're there. I think it's working, but it said broadcast interrupted, so I'll keep talking just in case and expect a delay a little bit. So here are some tips that I'm going to give you guys today. First of all, I never ever get a cold. So I'm kind of an authority on this, how to stay healthy, and all I do is research how to be happier. So maybe I'm an authority on that. But today you're going to learn a little bit about breathing, some healthy habits, and we can talk about, you know, vitamins and food and sleeping. We can talk about insomnia and things like that. Mark, hi Rose, welcome, welcome. This is going to be an awesome one. Hey Carrie. I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about prayer. If you're not religious, that's okay. We can still apply to your life. And if you are religious, I'm going to make sure that you're doing it the right way. I myself am not religious, but I kind of pray, so to speak. So I can tell you why that's a really important thing. I'm going to teach you some best practices for being healthier and happier that's not the most obvious. Valentina from the UK, welcome. Awesome. I know I feel really bad. I have a lot of friends overseas and in India and Australia, and they're like, what are you doing at 5 p.m.? Well, it's a good time for me, okay? Hallelujah, Mark. So teach you some best practices, and we're also going to talk a little bit about meditation, but that stuff's at the end. I'm really going to blow your minds today on how to be healthier and happier and how to combine the two. So buckle the heck up, okay? Yes, there's an emoji. You guys can hear me okay as you're piling in? I'm very excited. This is going to be fantastic. So how to be healthier and why I never get a cold and how we can bridge that to being happier. There's a common theme here that maybe you guys have picked up on a little bit, and I promise you if you watched every one of my videos, I'm going to teach you something new today. Absolutely. That's really going to help solidify this stuff. And if you don't watch all my videos, geez, just sit back. It's going to be great. So attention defines intention. Just process this as I like look at all my shirts that are like multi-layered. It's chilly back here. This attention defines intention. The attention that we give to things, the attention that we give to thoughts, it defines our intention in our minds. And I'm going to get like deeper and deeper as this goes on. So we'll start with the basics and we'll figure out why all this stuff has anything to do with health and happiness and how you guys can start right away, right after this video or even during this video, living healthier and happier lives, just all with your mind power, and a couple of best practices too that we're going to go over. So you ready to rock and roll? If you guys are ready, tell me ready. I'll just jump right into it. after I drink some water. Yes. Got some love. Show me the love. What's up, Steve? I see you sending me some hearts. The beginning of the video, I gave you a shout out, brother. All right. So the first thing about intention, defining intention that I like to talk about is where's Waldo, or how I just found out in, I think in Australia, they call it where's Wally, which makes perfect sense. Where's Wallaby? So in Where's Waldo, we're looking on this image trying to find this one little character. And this goes a lot with the way that we perceive life and the way that we walk into life with different intentions. So, awesome. I love you, Steve, and everybody, but everybody as well. Hey, John, welcome. So, attention defines intention. We're looking for Waldo, and as we're scanning across this image trying to find Waldo, our mind is very fixated on that one thing. We might not notice the water slides or the animals and this and that. And after you find Waldo, if we flip that picture over and I said, okay, how many people were wearing brown pants? You wouldn't have a clue. And it's not like you didn't see them. And it's not like you weren't there and aware of their presence, but you're unable to perceive that anything else existed other than Waldo. That's awesome. Tell your husband to quit snoring so you can hear me, so you can hear me better. That's fantastic. So you wouldn't have any idea what else is going on. And reality works for us just like that. And it's not as conscious as looking for Waldo. It has a lot to do with our attitudes. It has a lot to do with our personalities. I saw a coach make something like this the other day, and I kind of put my own little tweak on it. And I wanted you guys to look at this. So the real you is right meow in the middle here. And you can put soul, you can put that person that you are without the baggage, you know, without the wounds, without the traumas of the past, without, you know, whatever happened this morning, without the bad fish sandwich that you had at the gas station. You can just say it's the real you. If you're not religious or if you're spiritual, you can say it's your connection to the universe, whatever you want to do. The real you exists deep, deep down in here. And then after you experience things in life, you develop a personality. Your personality is this way. It's the lens through which you view the world, and it's the lens or the talking point through which you communicate with the world. So everybody thinks that they're their personality, right? For the most part, this is where a lot of the teaching, the society looks at this. Our personalities, our likes and dislikes are very definitive of who we are. But you guys got to admit, I mean, how often do you have a really good day or a really bad day, and that might actually change the way you make decisions. If you're in a really happy mood, you're more likely to buy things. You're more likely to be more spontaneous about things. But if you're in a bad mood, you might not be able to. So if this is making sense, let me know. We're obviously diving a lot deeper than this. But the reason why I wanted to, something's burning in my house. Honey? Guys, this is about to be like reality TV to the max. I don't want to just leave. So what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that the house is not on fire right now. And if it is, this is a really good way to stay healthy, okay? Not burning alive. Heather, I smell burning. Everything okay? You cooking anything? What the heck? Oh, the heat just turned on. Okay. Hey, guys, everything's okay. Says something about your old ventilation system if the heater smells like burning. Where were we? So, I want you guys to think about that and know that everything's okay in my house. My wife's a fantastic cook, by the way. I was close to being on fire. Guys didn't sign up for that, did you? So let's get back to the business and learn some stuff, right? So think about this, right? Your personality is very much determined on your mood, on the experiences that you have, on the wounds and the scars and whatever has happened to you growing up, on the culture and society that you're born into. Very much, you know, the inner you is also affected very much by these things and by your biology. We're predisposed or predetermined to do things. They've done studies with twins where they separated them at birth, You know, they didn't do that, but twins that were adopted. And later on, they go back and they film the parents, and then they check out the twins, and they have like the same mannerisms as the dad, but they've never met the dad before. Because a lot of that, it's crazy how we try to differentiate ourselves from our parents. Hey, Mary. But we're really predisposed to being just like them. Mark says AC in Texas. Great, Mark. It's beautiful and freezing here. I love it. So it's all about conditioning, right? And now, right now, you guys think that the outside world conditions you. A lot of you might think that, and some of you might be with me when I tell you that we do a lot of the conditioning. We are the translators of our experience. And if I don't get back to that as I get deeper, make sure somebody keeps me in check. So my house is not on fire. We're going to move to the next point. So attention defines intention. So we're walking around looking for Waldo all the time. They did this study where they took two groups, a group of people that think that they're lucky. I have a lot of friends that they feel like they're lucky, and they are lucky. Hi, Samantha. Thanks for joining me. It's like a Warren family tradition it's going to be. You know, we have those friends that just think that they're lucky, and they kind of are. Like, they get away with murder, and you know, not literally, hopefully, but I have a lot of friends like that. They've just always felt like they're lucky, and a lot of good things happen to them. And I have friends, and I was one of these kind of people that I felt like my last name was a curse. I felt like Cap was a curse, and I felt like I was always going to get the worst thing was going to happen to me. I'm Murphy's Law. And I would go through life like that. Like, of course I'm not going to make this sale. Of course this girl isn't going to talk to me. Of course I'm going to mess up on my test. And I always had this inkling, whatever, this gut feeling that bad things were going to happen to me. Thanks, Steve. That's awesome. And a lot of bad things did happen to me, or I kind of maybe created those things, and that's what I'm going to tell you about. So they took these groups of people, a group of people that thought they were really lucky, and a group of people that thought they were really unlucky. And as they're walking them through this place, and they're telling them that they're going to get to this, you know, they're going to get to the study that they want to talk to them about, they hid money all over the place, and they hid all this money all over the place. And I'll say hi to your daughter. How old's your daughter, Valentina? As they're walking through, the lucky group is just like, bam, I just found some money. That's all. Excuse me. No, keep going, Mr. Scientist. Whatever you were saying, doctor. And the doctor's like, check. He found that one. He found the next one. He found the next one. And all of the lucky people had a really, really easy time finding the money, right? What happened to the unlucky group? Anybody have any idea what happened to the unlucky group? The group that thought that their lives sucked, that they just, you know, nothing good ever happened to them. Can anybody guess? While I drink some more water. 8 years. Awesome. What a cool age. My kiddos are 2.5 and half. 6 months. All right. While you're guessing, the unlucky group had a really, really, really hard time finding the money. So go figure, right? Because attention defines intention. So if you walk around through life and you say, I'm unlucky, you're stepping over dollar bills constantly. Interesting. Mark says nothing. That's right. That is right. So again, this seems like, well, of course, if you're unlucky, you're not going to notice money. But I mean, how? Thanks, brother. I want some of that. Up my health even more. Alkaline water or something. If you guys are interested in the health benefits of water in particular, check out Steve Warren just made a comment. You can check out his live. They had some real eye-opening experiments just an hour ago. So you might be thinking, like, the money thing, that's not really a big deal. And don't worry, I'm going to keep hitting you with points until you realize that you are creating your own reality. So the next thing is, if you talk to anybody in botany, or anybody that has a huge garden, or just, you know, sells a lot of plants, or lives with tons of plants, they will swear that talking to their plants and showing their plants love helps them grow more. I have my own personal experiences by not having a green thumb and not doing very well with our plants, but we've had 2 really good plants, an orchid and some kind of little palm that we keep in this area that should be a porch in our apartment bedroom that is not at all. But they both are doing really well, and that's the only thing that I practice. I'm like, I'm so sorry that I forgot to give you guys water for the last like week, but I love you, and please keep growing. My orchid is a monster. The thing is, like, the leaves on it are huge. Next point. So there's this doctor called Dr. Masaru Emoto, and you guys can check that out, Emoto. And I might have actually put a link. I put a link in the comments, and you can see after this video. He did this study where he yelled at water. He played heavy metal music to water, and he loved water, and he complimented it, and he prayed for water, and then he froze it. And when he froze it, he had some really interesting experiences with it. So here, you guys can see "Thank You" is really pretty. It's crystalline. It's geometric. You know, love and appreciation, Beethoven's music. And you go over here, and that's, what is that? That's before prayer, so that's like nasty, dirty water. And then after prayer, it's very pretty. And let's see, there's heavy metal music. It looks all disrupt. So when he freezes the water, it doesn't freeze in a, let's see if I fix that. Yes, it doesn't freeze in like a pretty crystalline form. Where am I? You can't find me. Was it because I had my thumb over? Can you guys see me and hear me okay? Alma, how are you messaging me if you can't find me? Maybe have it on pause? I don't know. Could be. Let me know if everything's good on your end, guys. Round 2. Guys? Oh, Mary says it's good. All right, cool. We'll keep rocking here. So, what does the water study tell us? What is freezing water after praying for it or smiling at it and loving it versus cursing at it and playing music tell us? What I want you guys to consider is that we're over 70% water. You know, it's who we are. We'll get back to this. There's another level to this layer, right? Who you are on the inside is not your personality. It's not, you know, all that stuff was defined by conditioning, and you can condition yourself to have a different personality. You can condition yourself to have different likes and interests and talents and all that kind of stuff. But here's another thing. If we snip my finger off, I'm still going to be 100% kale. If we chop my arm off, maybe it'll take me a week or so, but eventually I'm going to be 100% kale, you know? They're doing head transplants, and they're trying to do brain transplants, and as technology moves forward, they're going to figure out how to computerize this stuff and transfer consciousness into a computer. So without that one being said, with what we have right now, who are we exactly? If we're not really our bodies, because we can be fat and skinny, we can fluctuate throughout our lives, we can be healthy, we can be unhealthy throughout our lives, who are we? Right? We are something very, very different. And if you think about all the stuff that goes on in your body, your blood is pumping, there's heat being generated, there's electrical impulses in your brain, your cells, trillions and trillions of cells are being held together by these bonds that are way stronger than gravity. And that has nothing to do with who you are. You have no control over that, thankfully. Otherwise, people would be disintegrating in the streets all the time, every time they have a panic attack or they get angry at their significant other or something like that. So what does it tell us? It tells us that if we're 70% water, then maybe what we're feeding our minds and what we're experiencing on a regular basis might have a lot to do with how healthy we are. It might. Maybe not. But guys, I got a whole bunch of bullet points here. So we're going to get deeper, and this is going to sink in. So a lot of people hated on Dr. Emoto's study, and for good reason. You have to speculate on studies. So a lot of people went and recreated these rice studies, and I looked through so many articles, and they're all saying the exact same thing. If you take rice and pour water into it, make sure everything is very clean, and if you can sterilize it, sterilize it. Use like IPA, alcohol, or whatever you can to sterilize it. You can take jars of rice, and you put water in it, and label the jars, you know, hate, love, and do a neutral. And what most people find is that neutral does really well. After a couple of weeks, the rice is still exactly the same. Love usually does very well, but sometimes neutral beats it, and I'm going to tell you why. But the one that you scream at and you hate and you curse at will always get moldy. From what I've seen in all these studies, they get moldy way faster than anything else does. That's really interesting, isn't it? Like, why do our words or why do our feelings have some kind of effect on mold growing, on decomposition, on breakdown, right? Okay, ready to go deeper. The other thing is with the lucky people, just to notice that lucky people and people that think that they're lucky, really, a lot of good things do happen to those people, outside and inside. They become healthier. I know people that are not very nice people, but they're really happy with themselves, and they do a really good job in life. They kick butt in life, and it's interesting. It's interesting to see that kind of stuff. What we eat is super important, Romaine, for sure. But see, I didn't want to just give you guys something that you can Google search, you can blog, you can find a blog really quick and it's like, say, top 10 foods, because, you know, kale is one of the top foods on there that you guys should be eating. So I didn't want to just give you the easy, drink more water, get more sleep, although I am going to bring up some of those things at the end. I wanted to get you guys thinking, like, how could you change this right now? Maybe you can't buy organic food, and maybe you have to eat junk once in a while. Maybe you're on the road a lot or something. You don't really find the time to do these things, excuses, whatever it is. I wanted to give you guys something that you can't have an excuse for. I wanted to show you guys something that doesn't matter how rich or poor you are, how much time you have or don't have, that if you start tapping into this, you can start improving your happiness and significantly improve your health. Next. There are studies done that prove that introverts and more intelligent people are more depressed. Now, the reason for this thing is because a lot of times they're thinking. And no offense, but often dumber people, which I should say, no offense to myself, often dumber people are happier, and it's because they're not speculating and they're not in their heads. So your thoughts are very powerful, but it's not just your thoughts, it's the experiences that you have. So why, hey Kayla, welcome. Your experiences are different. You know, why are the nerds not having the best times of their lives, and why are the jocks having better times of their lives? Well, a lot of it is because the attention that you pay to things defines your intention in life. It's defining your reality. The people that are constantly giving themselves negative self-talk are not seeing the $20 bills all over the road, right? If you guys are ready to dive deeper, right, dive. Dive. Kayla, I think you need 40 diplomas to be dumb. Once you hit that, then it reverses your brain power. Romaine's got my back. Let's do this thing. Thanks, Kayla. Let's rock and roll. So, what we think, we become. In every single ancient teaching, Bible, Buddhism, you know, Taoism, in Hindu texts, it's there. There's another version of this. Our thoughts are very powerful, and the more we think things, the more we create our reality. The more we create ourselves based on those thoughts. So, what we think, we become. Now, here's something I use with my clients a lot, and it's another, like, get to the core of who you really are, right? So logically, it makes sense for us to say, you know, I believe that I'm you know, in good health. I believe that good things are going to happen to me because you know, stay positive, stay optimistic, right? Logically, it might make sense to say, you know, saying horrible things about myself is not serving me. It's certainly not making me more confident to talk to this person or to get in front of a group of people or whatever it is, to go into a job interview. So logically, it's easy. But if we want to change who you are at the core, if we want to get down to the beliefs here, what you believe about yourself, we have to go through this whole spectrum here, right? So logically is easy, but we have to work on our thoughts. Now, a lot of you guys have seen my seminars on anxiety, and if you haven't, let me know and I'll send you a link and check it out. But our thoughts are very important. We are wired for negativity as humans because we're weak, feeble little creatures on the food chain. So we're always looking for negative things. How often do you go to bed and be like, oh man, 17 good things happened to me today? No, you're like, that one son of a bee was a real, and you think and you focus on these negative things. And throughout our lives, we have a real problem expressing gratitude, because gratitude is a really dumb thing to express if you're just shark food, or you're just tiger food, or flying shark food, or whatever you are. If you're walking around happy-go-lucky out in the middle of the wilderness, you look delicious, and you're going to get picked up on really, really quickly. So gratitude isn't really a natural thing for people to express. Blissful happiness and walking around just whistling and being really overjoyed is not a good thought pattern for survival. But now it is, because we're living in the safest time in human history right now, but we are experiencing the most depression and the most anxiety, and suicide rate is out of control, and all this kind of stuff. More than ever before, we're experiencing these illnesses, and they're getting worse, and we're defining them and subdefining them, and we're paying so much attention to it. And the reason for that is because we don't have real things to complain about, so we feel miserable because our biology is so slow. And you compare it to technology. Every year we're coming out with a thinner and a crazier cell phone, iPhone X17, whatever the heck it is now. It can fly and make you lunch, and that's fantastic. And that's, our brain goes, this is great, but I need something better. And that's how our lives are. This is okay, but now I need something better. I need something better. I need something better. And it never ends. We go through life and we're never satisfied because of our survival mechanisms, not because of our personalities, not because of our upbringing. It's because of our wiring. So if we want to feel better, and we want to feel happier, we want to get down into those feelings, we got to work on our thoughts first. So we got to control these thoughts, and we got to focus these thoughts. And the best way to focus on our thoughts is to get to know ourselves. Through meditation, through breathing exercises, through stopping and trying not to react to everything that just sets us off all the time. And the more we think about things, eventually the more we feel things. I was doing like a practice with you guys on one of my other lives where I got like up and I get real crazy, and if you want, I'll do it again. But when you really, really talk about it and think about it and say things out loud over and over and over again, you might actually start to feel it. And feeling it is really, really important, because then it changes your beliefs. It changes who you are. It changes the way that you react to things. It changes the way that you experience things. And if it changes the way that you experience things, then it changes the way that you translate your experience. And then it's going to change your entire life. It's going to change your entire reality. So just think about things. Think about things that are good. Focus on good thoughts. Start changing your feelings. And you'll get down to that core, and you'll change who you are. Let's get deeper. So there's another study I have linked up wherever it is on this Facebook feed. And no sad. What are you saying sad? No sad faces? Happy, Alma. No. So there's a study talking about depression. Send me an emoji if you guys could still hear me, because it says like 12, 13 people, and then it goes down, and I think only like 2 people might be in. So I just want to make sure guys are still here with me. Send me an emoji. Hey, Laura, we're just getting good here. No worries. Mark says deeper. We're getting deeper. I got lots more for you. Stay tuned. I don't know how to do a seminar in a half hour, guys. I can only do like an hour long. You guys will be lucky if I'm done in an hour. We'll be 2 hours into this, and you'll lose all your weight, your cholesterol will drop, and you'll win the lottery. That's next. Okay, cool. I see you guys are still here. Let's rock and roll. There's a study up here, and I'm really glad I found this study, because it proves something that I've been talking about for a long time, and it talks about everyone like in medicine and in psychiatry and psychology a lot. They're focusing on just the brain being the problem. You're depressed. It's a brain chemical imbalance. Who do you think is in charge of all this? This thing right here. So if you have a chemical imbalance up here, what do you think it's going to do to the rest of you? Now, anybody that's ever had anxiety or depression knows that it's very physical. So if it's physical, if you're tired, if you're weak, if you're unmotivated, if you can't eat, if all that, there must be something chemical going on in your body. There must be physical things happening to your organs, to your system, to all this kind of stuff, right? Well, that study that I have connected here does prove it. But think about this. When you're sad, you're not sad, you feel sad, right? You aren't sad, you feel sad. So if you feel sad, what are you feeling? What is that you're feeling? What are you connected to? You're feeling chemicals in your body. And do you think those sad chemicals are doing good things for your survival? Do you think that they're helping your organs? This study talks about the effects of your cardiovascular system when you're depressed. And anybody that's anxious knows that their heart rate increases for no reason at all. Like not you can't run on it. It's not like you're exercising. Your heart's beating out of control. Anytime a cop pulls up behind you and that feeling happens and you feel your adrenaline hit you. Adrenaline is amazing, but it's really bad for you when you're just sitting still. It's not good to just sit still and get adrenaline. You need to go for a jog or something like that. So the chemicals in our body serve really, really good purposes. But if we're not in a state of danger and if we're not in a state of survival, these chemicals are hurting us. So when you are sad, you are hurting your body. You're hurting your health. When you are sad, you're defining your intention and you're not seeing things in your life. You are focusing your awareness on things that probably you don't want to see. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I went through a nice emo phase in college. I grew my hair out. I stayed up until 4 a.m. and wrote poetry and stuff, and I fed into it. I fed into it a lot, and I think that our system, our society, feeds into that kind of stuff a lot with the media and with music that we listen to, and with our friends, with our social network, with our group of support. It's all about complaining. It's all about, did you hear this horrible news? And let's feed on it. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And we think that talking about it is helping us. And I'm going to tell you exactly why we think that. In ancient times, talking about bad things was a survival instinct. It was a good mechanism. We'd walk into a village and be like, tiger, almost ate me, whatever. And that's really good. Oh, now everybody knows tiger over there almost ate him. Let's not go over there. And that's survival. So our brain does this little, hey, nice job, buddy. That's how my brain talks to me. He's like Jiminy Cricket. He goes, hey, buddy, good job. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. And my voice kind of goes up like that sometimes too. And that little trickle feels good for a moment, but I just got done telling you. We screw up our reality from sad. We screw up our bodies from sadness. So the more we focus on negativity, the more our cardiovascular system suffers. And if that suffers, then we're pumping bad blood into our bodies. We're not pumping oxygenated rich blood. Our nutrition goes down. Our whole body gets messed up. We're releasing things like cortisol into our bloodstream, which is detrimental to our, you guys like Jiminy Cricket? It's detrimental to our bones. It causes inflammation. And inflammation, a lot of doctors believe inflammation is the cause to all sorts of diseases, including cancer. So, do I believe you can give yourself cancer? 100%. 100%. And I think that we're lucky that we are not in contact with this system as much as we think we are. Because if we could contact our brain and our nervous system and everything, I need Chris Lee to explain this to me better, but if we could contact it like very, very well, we'd accidentally disintegrate our body, or we'd cause kidney failure, or we'd stop our hearts accidentally, and we'd focus on it and be like, oh no, it's not beating, and we'd focus so much on it that it wouldn't beat. Luckily, we're only in slight control over these things, but you gotta ask yourself, if you've been sad for 20 years, if you've been sad for 50 years, if you had rage and you had 30 years of just rage, just bam, and you go to anger because of your upbringing and this and that and the other thing, what are you doing to your body? Here's a better question. When we're happy, we feel what? Good. So if we feel good, what are we feeling? We must be feeling chemicals. We must be feeling a chemical reaction that's occurring in our body. Thousands and thousands of reactions are happening every single second in your cells. That means that it's never too late. And if you start feeling happy, you can start doing some good for your body. So I know that it goes against everything. Can I do, Kayla wants me to do a whole seminar in Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, I can do that. I can do Kermit the Frog here as well. That's kind of an okay one. I can practice that. Get you guys next time, Kermit. So if we feel good, we're doing good things for our body. If we feel good, all of a sudden, now we're starting to notice some things in our reality. So if we start noticing different things in our reality, we're changing our reality. But guys, I don't want to just stop there. Kayla, if that would make you happy, I'll do it. But it won't be an hour long because I feel like I feel like I would hurt my voice. Amy, we're just about to get super deep, but I want you to check out the beginning of this. If you guys think that this has been good so far, let me know. But we're gonna get deeper on your butts. We're gonna get that sounded horrible. We're gonna get real deeper on your minds. You guys are butt heads. That's what it is. So we're gonna talk quantum, and we're gonna do that right after I tell you about my favorite study in the whole world, and that is we're getting some laughs on that one. Is the longest study in human history. They figured out the two biggest factors to having a long, happy, healthy life. To having a long, healthy life without disease. You know, people that they've been studying them, they've been studying their families, they started studying their kids, and they're going to keep the study going. It's over 75 years now they've been studying these people. And the number one thing to living a long, healthy life. Awesome. Thanks, Rose. Kayla. But, wow, LOL. Sorry. The number one thing to living a long, healthy life is happiness. That's contentment, is to feeling happy in your life, to being appreciative, and to practice gratitude. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, let me know, because we can definitely answer them. Number one thing to living a long, disease-free life is happiness, guys. Not genes, not meds, not vitamins, not diet. Although a lot of them had pretty good diets, but it wasn't all across the board. So there was a vegetarian here. There's a big, steak and scotch guy over here. But it was happiness was the number one thing. So what's number two? What do we think? Food? Exercise? Some of you guys might know because I love quoting this study a lot. It's very easy to find this. There's an awesome TED Talk. Figured it was happiness. Amy, you got my number. Guys, I had enough sadness in my life, enough grief and grudgery and anger and depression, and I just want to be happy now, and it does a body good. Sleep, Laura, that's a good one. I know it's on the list, but the number two thing was having happy relationships, having relationships where even if you fought with your significant other, with your kids, with your parents, you guys tried to, Kayla says booze, maybe for patience, that you guys try to get to the same goal in the end. So right now, I want to tell you guys, if you're in a relationship that you might consider bad, if it's with your parents or with your kids or with your significant other, if you're trying to get to that same goal at the end, whether it's, let's learn how to live together, or let's get to a place where we can communicate better, then that's a healthy, happy relationship. So the top two things are happiness and happiness junior for living a long, healthy life. And look for it. And message me if you want to call BS. I love it. I don't know if I might not have tagged that one, but it's easy to look up like TED Talk, longest study ever, longest study in human history finds happiness, whatever. But guys, it's happiness. It's happiness. So how do we wire ourselves for happiness? Constant good thoughts lead to good feelings, which makes us happy people. Woo! And I can help you guys get there. And I hope that I'm helping a lot of you guys get there, but it's what I do, and I love doing it. So now let's get quantum on your heads. Sweet, Kayla. Kayla's got a rock star of a husband. Let's get him in on this group, huh? Amy says she agrees with wanting to be happy. Excellent. Great points, Romaine says. Beautiful. I'm glad. I'm excited about this stuff, as you can see. So, not take a number two. Okay. What's funny is I'm going to have this on YouTube, so the comments are not going to be relevant. So, except for the ones where I make verbal slip-ups. Look at how I can change the color. I'm red. And I'm white. The first thing you see is my mustache when it comes back on. This happens in a day. I shaved this morning, by the way. Okay, guys, let's talk quantum. Now, for those of you that don't know, quantum physics is like the mind-blowing physics, is like the physics of the future. It's going to be the physics that ties in the theories that they couldn't figure out, and it's going to tie in religion, and it's going to tie in spirituality, and it's going to tie in our purpose and why we're here. And it's just really, really, really cool. I'm really into it, and a lot of it has to do with attention defining intention, right? Why would I stray from the point? I'm trying to get you guys healthier, and I'm trying to make you happier. So in quantum physics, there's this thing called the observer effect. Good. I love it. Kayla says my excitement is contagious. I'm spreading it like the plague, baby. Woo! All right. The observer effect. The observer effect is really cool. So what happens is they set up a system where they use a very, very finite microscope, like an electron microscope or something even more. I don't know what the microscope is, but something that can see atoms and something that can see electrons. And what they can do is set a camera up to this thing, and when they put the camera on it, everything at that level, I still have like an easy 20 minutes to blow your friggin' minds. Everything at that level, when there's a camera watching it, exists as a wave. It exists as an energy wave. You know, an electron, we picture it like a circle, a ball, you know, a thing, a particle. We picture a proton and a neutron at the nucleus of that atom as if I'm saying that right, as particles. But when you put a camera up to it, it just sees them as waves, which kind of makes sense because they're energy, which is really interesting, right? I'll come back to that. I'm going to do a really cool caveat to that. I don't know how to spell caveat, but it's my notes here. So they're waves. They're waves of energy when you put a camera up to it. But Kayla, you're funny. When we observe an atom, when we observe an electron, it doesn't exist as a wave. It exists as a particle. So when we look at it, when we give it attention, our intention is to see something, and we do. We see it as a particle. But if we walk away and just set up that camera, that high-powered camera up to the microscope, it exists as a wave. Now, what the heck does this have to do with anything, Kale? Okay. It's really interesting, this observer effect, because that means that our attention actually changes the reality of the situation. A camera has no intention. A camera is this machine, and all it is just recording the situation. And they have all of these different ways to prove that just by giving something attention, it changes the reality of something. It changes the behavior at the atomic level. So why is this an interesting thing? Why does this have anything to do with our health and our happiness? Well, every single thing from this pen to me, to the computer, to the air that we're breathing, to everything is made of the same building blocks, is made of atoms. And if at that level and at a deeper level, those things don't even exist as something solid, they exist as energy waves, what the heck are we? And if we pay attention to those things, then they exist. So the next time somebody asks you if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a noise? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because somebody needs to observe it to make a noise. Now you can argue that a noise is some sound that needs to be heard through an ear, but the point is that if you put a camera there, it almost wouldn't even exist at the atomic level. You know, when things get up to the physical spectrum where we can experience things, we experience them, and we can't seem to change them at that magnitude. But if every bit of us, if every ounce of who we are is made up of these particles that only exist when you pay attention to them, if 70% of us is water and our thoughts and feelings affect the way that water freezes, affects mold or not mold, affects the health of foods, then our attention to things really, really can define how healthy we are and how happy we are on a brain level and on a metaphysical level. You guys with me? Did that make enough sense? I can break it down more for sure if I didn't already. I see a few people are still here, so that's really cool. Kaylee, don't have a science degree? Oh, can't believe that. That's my jams. Everyone's just like, what are we listening to? So definitely ask me questions, but I'm going to give you some best practices now. How do we turn this new knowledge and this superpower into a superpower, into something that we can wield and use for the greater good? If our thoughts define our feelings, which defines our overall well-being, and if our intention actually can change reality on a quantum level, and our intention can change reality on a physical level, what are we paying attention to? What are we giving our attention to throughout our lives? If you guys are still with me, let me know what are some of the things. Mary says 10 days strong. I love you, Mary. You are awesome. Drink it in. Laura just goes, huh? And Kayla says she feels very Big Bang Theory. Hey, we can get deeper on like where things are coming from and spirituality and stuff. I'm not here to, bye Mary. I'm not here to change your beliefs at all. In fact, we're only humans, and even the Bible says we can't even fathom the thoughts of God. So I don't think that anybody on earth should be able to comprehend after earth. You know, when Columbus was sailing in, there were stories of the natives not being able to actually see the ships because they'd never seen anything like that before. They were looking out into the ocean, and they called the shaman over because they could see that the waves were breaking in a funny way. And the shaman watched it for hours until his eyes would allow him to see ships. This sounds crazy because we know everything right now, right? We're the technology, we know every single thing out there, do we? But these humans were looking out there, and they couldn't see ships, giant ships out there. And eventually they could see them when they stared long enough and said, well, something's creating the waves right there, the wake there. So what is that? And eventually the shaman saw them, and then the shaman had to show them, like somehow show them that those ships were actually out there because they were just seeing the backdrop. And there's a lot of studies on quartz and like eyewitness studies on how people are like, well, it was a green motorcycle, it was a brown van, and just what they saw and immediately after how they remember it, it's just all off base. We're living in a strange world. So, Alma, something wrong with my PC. Couldn't see your live there. Moved to my phone, but kind of late. Alma, I'm going to give you some best practices right now, and this should be up, in a half hour or so. So definitely enjoy. I think you've had some problems with like sound and stuff on your PC, so we got to get you a new computer, I think. I'm going to send you this one. I'll just do everything off my phone like I was doing for the longest time. Amy says, I'm still struggling with my GED, and I'm not getting anywhere in it, and I don't know what to do to change it. So how to be more intelligent? That's essentially, Mark, one of my good buddies, Chris Lee, and Amy, I'm not ignoring, I'm going to come right back to that because it's a good question. One of my good buddies, Chris Lee, Dr. Chris Lee, has a course out there where he describes how you can use your mind to heal yourself. You specifically, Mark, I believe 100% that you could heal your heart and you could get your heart back on the right track through breathing exercises and through thought. Your brain does the healing. Your brain tells your blood to do the things that it's doing, right? There's a consciousness in there that tells blood when it hits oxygen to create a scab and create healing. And there's an amount of energy that it takes to close a wound. if you could somehow tap into this, you could focus all your energy on healing stuff. I believe it 100%. I'm nowhere near there right now, but I don't get sick, so that's one good thing. But I attribute that mostly to just believing that I'm not going to get sick, and I don't pay attention to getting sick. Like a lot of times I wake up with like a little bit of a sore throat, and then I just don't pay attention to it. I just drink water, and I'm fine, and it goes away. Because what we pay attention to defines our intention. So Amy, one thing to relate it to this is be happy, because there are plenty of studies out there that say the happier you are, the smarter you will be, the more receptive and open you will be to things. But we can totally do, like, if you guys are interested in how to increase your intelligence and maybe like your perception and your attention, like abilities, we can definitely do a webinar one of these days this week, actually, right here. Just let me know in the group or post something on my wall or send me a message or something, and we'll do it. Otherwise, Amy, I'll send you some stuff directly, okay? But think happiness first, and think about what you want to do, right? Think about where you want to put your attention. Don't think about where you've come from. Don't think about who's sending me angry. Don't think about where you've been, and don't think about where you're at right now if you don't like it. Think about where you want to go, and give yourself confidence boosters, because if I'm teaching you anything right now, it's pay attention to your thoughts, because your thoughts are going to define everything for you. So if you feel like you're failing, if you think you're failing, you feel like you're failing, you believe you're a failure, and that's ridiculous. That's not who you are. That's your personality. That's this goofball out here. We got to get past all this crap to get to who you are, okay? So let's rock and roll. Let's keep moving. Prayer. I want to talk about prayer because I know a lot of religious people, and I know a lot of spiritual people, and I recommend praying even if you don't believe in God, because what prayer can be is like an affirmation. So you don't have to put your hands together, although that feels good, and maybe there's some energy involved in there, but it's affirmation. It's positive self-talk, right? So prayer equals positive self-talk for the people that don't believe in God or a higher power or universal thing. But when you pray, this is really important to note. And I don't think Aida is on here, but I think her husband is a pastor, and I really hope that they pray like this. But if they don't, they can level up their prayer this way. So a lot of people pray like this: God, please smite my enemies. No, they don't do that usually, but they say things like, please just heal me. Please give me the things, like I need money. We're so broke, and I know you're all love, and they have this negative connotation on things. And what I want you guys to know is that the human consciousness is very powerful. It's so powerful that it affects the very building blocks of life, the atoms. And we just explained that on the quantum level, our consciousness and our intention and our attention completely defines the building blocks of life. So, and that we're 70% water, and we talked about the water. The way that you want to pray, the way that you want to affirm things in your life, it has to be from, and you can look this up if you guys want to. Look up law of attraction. Look up The Secret. Look up that kind of stuff. But you don't have to get all hippity-dippity. I want you to. You don't have to. What you do have to know is that your intention has to be in the right place. If you want health, you have to have enough thoughts that you get down onto that belief level and the feeling level that you feel healthy mentally. So if you want good health, don't say take away this sickness from me, because what you're saying is sickness. I tell everyone that struggles with anxiety, I'm like, let it go. Stop paying attention to anxiety and start paying attention to calmness and clarity. And the more you focus on calmness and clarity, the more you rewire your brains and your circuits for calmness and clarity. And the same thing goes with your health. The more you pay attention to good health, and you surround yourself with people that talk about good health, and you surround yourself with things that are good, you feel better. And if you feel better, you're delivering your body all these good chemicals, and all that kind of stuff will make you be better. So your prayers have to be, your affirmations have to be in a place that doesn't create a gap, that doesn't say, I'm here, but I need to be here. It has to be like you're already there. You have to get to a place that you feel like that, so your body, so all this rest of these atoms can catch up to where you want to be. Making you guys powerful. Hope you feel that. I got some comments here. That's the hard part. Thoughts can lie. Gonna train yourself to have positive thoughts. Your thoughts are full of lies because of survival mechanisms, Laura. They're full of nonsense. And even if they're telling the truth, even if you're like, if your thoughts are like, oh, you're lazy, and you are, fine. That's okay. Don't get down on yourself, but switch it. Focus on what you want to be and fill your head with that. If you sat at home for 3 days straight and had nothing but motivating, positive, good thoughts, you would go crazy, kick the door out, and go flying out there and make $1 million in no time. The truth is that none of us have the attention span to pay attention to anything for more than 6 seconds at a time, and that's like a good amount of time. So like what we have to do is just constantly be aware of our thoughts. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is breathing. I'm always teaching breathing, and it's like, oh, I know how to breathe, Kale, and it's like, no, you don't. So when we breathe, breathing is something we don't have to think about. Breathing is a subconscious thing. We never have to think about breathing until we do, and then we have to. Once you start paying attention to your breath, you have to breathe. You have to think about breathing. And that's a good thing. That's our bridge from conscious to subconscious. That's the thing that's going to help us tap into this power, make us healthier, and make us happier. And it's deep breathing. And we want to breathe very deeply when we're breathing, and slowly, not like that's horrible. Your lungs need time to absorb the oxygen. You have alveoli, these tiny little sacs inside of your lungs at the very, very tips of the branches. And these alveoli are, they grab oxygen molecules and or oxygen atoms, because molecules, chemistry, I hated chemistry. They grab oxygen atoms. Is that right? What the heck am I trying to say? Compounds and molecules. So molecules. Somebody chemistry, correct me. They only grab one oxygen item at a time. And they grab that. And if you're breathing too fast, you're not getting enough of that. And if you're breathing too shallow, you're creating dead space in your lungs. So every once in a while, you want to do a full exhale, just a when you breathe in, you want your belly to expand like you're filling up a ball with air. You want to breathe in very slowly, and it's great to close your eyes, and that helps you get into the present moment, and that helps to clear your mind. And Amy, that helps to make you smarter because you're delivering oxygen to the thing that needs 20% of your oxygen at all times anyway. So breathing is so, so important. If you can create this muscle memory for breathing, you'll sleep better, you'll breathe better throughout the day, and you'll feel so much healthier. The next thing is the obvious that you guys are always seeing me drink, H2O. That's the only thing that I drink. In fact, here's a fun fact for you guys. It's actually going to be the only thing I drink all year long. That's what I'm doing for 2018. Because I might be happy, but I still have my rough days, you know, and I'll tell you guys about my rough day today if you want to hear about it. But I want to be happier, and I want to get to the next level. So I'm going to see about cutting booze and stuff out of my system and see if that changes things. But to each his own. You can be pretty darn happy and live a life significantly better than what you're living right now if you just do some of my practices, and you can keep drinking. That's perfectly fine. So, got some prayers work for me. Excellent. Funny guy. I'm glad that I'm making you laugh. Laura gets it. LOA, Laura. Law of Attraction. There is a great video on Netflix called The Secret. That's what I was just talking about. Excellent. It's a documentary. It's funky. What I'll tell you, if you guys are interested in law of attraction, one thing that I feel like Esther kind of doesn't explain deep enough, that it took me like months to understand, was how I was saying to frame your affirmations or frame your prayers. You have to really, really feel it when you're saying it. And sometimes she gets into this, but sometimes she doesn't. She just says, like, think it. And you have to feel it. So if, for instance, if I was like, I'm filthy rich right now, there'd be a little inkling in the back of my head that's going, no, you're not. And then I would know that. So I have to get myself into a place of feeling like that. And if you want to get into a place of that, what you do is say all the things that would equal that. So for the people that have bad health, what would good health feel like? Good health would feel like waking up with more pep in your step, sleeping better, not being achy around the grandkids or whatever. And the more and more and more that you think about all the things that good health brings, the more you start to kind of cope with that good health, and the more you feel healthy. Feels good right now, folks. Amy, H2O is water. It's just water. That is the chemical name for water or whatever. Kayla says, let's hear about it. I'll tell you about my day. I know when I'm helping people, it helps me too. Absolutely. Romaine, the only thing that I would say about helping people is making sure that you're helping yourself first. You know, a lot of people that I attract as well that like listen to my stuff are super awesome helpers, and they give everything to people, and that leaves you empty. Alma says, I think you've seen my status the other day. I had the worst panic attack ever through the weekend. Alma said that she prayed and prayed, and it usually works, but it didn't. But then she started praying for other people. Okay, this is a perfect segue. And then she felt better. This is a perfect segue to tell you about my day. So I've often rubbed people the wrong way. I'm very, opinionated, and I'm outspoken, and I love debating. I love getting to understand people's ideas because I thrive off of criticism. I'm a real wacko like that, but I love it because if I think that I'm right, that's great. But if I'm not perfect, then I must be missing something. And that's the way that I look at it. So I don't mind when people call me out. But going on this path, on the path of helping people with, depression and PTSD and anxiety and stuff like that, a lot of haters are coming out of the woodwork. A lot of people trying to rob from me and trying to tell me that, I'm a quack and I'm a con artist and this kind of stuff. And it's like, what in the, it's just crazy how much it doesn't matter. Here's the thing though, when people hate on you and when people come at you and try to take you down, you got to understand that you're in charge. This is you. This is your universe. And if you hate them back, and if you talk crap on them, and if you focus on that negativity in any way at all, now you're inviting negativity back into your head, right? And if you're inviting negativity back into your head, you're believing yourself to be a hateful person, an angry person, all this kind of stuff. And you're going to make yourself sick. You're going to create disease in your life, and you're going to change your intentions so that you miss all the good stuff in life. So, one of my statuses recently, I said, anybody that hates you, that's fine. You got to return it with love. MLK, fight hate with love. Fight war with peace. Just be selfish and say, I don't have room in my heart, in my universe here for negativity and for hate. And that's how I feel. But when people come at you, it's not easy. So I've turned it into like a mantra or a prayer. When people get really down on me, I take a few seconds or minutes or however long it takes to just be like, I hope every amazing thing happens to this person. And the more you try to imagine good things happening for these people that are trying to get you, the better you feel. The better you feel, the better your reality will be. So just do it, guys. Forget about hating. Forget about anger. Forget about that stuff. It's worthless. So Romaine says, I have to pray. Oh, so anyway, someone was calling me out pretty bad earlier, and I had to take a few moments to really get myself centered, and then I did, and then my wife and I got into it because, we're humans, and that took me a few more moments because it's more of a conditioned, like, oh, we're fighting again kind of thing, and but we made up. I've read in places like not to go to sleep angry. There's this awesome practice I saw Prince EA do. He's like one of my idols here. And what you do is you hold hands with the other person and you look into their eyes and you just try to be there in the moment with them. You just try to breathe and you just try to smile. And if you can just be quiet for a few minutes and just stare into their eyes, eventually it starts to wallow. That rage starts to calm down. Another thing that works really, really well is to notice something new. Tony Robbins was talking about when he's working on couples, he's saying to look at each other and discover something new that you haven't really noticed before that you can compliment them on, maybe a freckle or whatever, and focus on that. But even in your reality, if you're in a bad place, look around and try to find something you haven't seen before. And that new attention creates a new pathway in your brain, which helps take the attention off of the crap and off the negativity. And you get to let that crap go. You get to let the negativity go. And it's so important. So, Romaine, mental health. What you want to pray for is, what does mental health feel like? Clarity. You want to pray for peace of mind. And you want to pray in a way that says, thank you. Read the Bible. They don't say to beg. They say to give thanks and to believe that you already have these things. So you have to put yourself in this place and believe that you're already there. I'm thankful for clarity, and I love clarity. And then Laura knows this stuff. You get into law of attraction and you say, I love clarity because it feels like this. And feeling like this helps me do these things. And feeling smart helps me do these things. And I love to do those things because I get this in return. And the more and more you do that, the more you really start to believe it. When you believe it, dude, there's nothing stopping you guys from experiencing that as your reality. It takes time. You don't know how much damage you've already done. Just keep on the path. Keep it up. Joe Dispenza, he's a doctor, one of my idols, and he does these programs where people are healing themselves of insane, stage 4 cancers and things like that, all through this power of the mind stuff. It's wild stuff. So the next thing, and what I was talking about is loving kindness and gratitude. Just be grateful for the haters and send them loving kindness. Send it to them. Next thing is meditation. Guys, got to learn to meditate just a little bit, even 30 seconds a day. And what you can do is do my breathing exercise where you're pausing and breathing and focusing on your breath and inhaling, pausing, exhaling, pausing, and just continue to do that. Continue to do that. And focus. What meditation is it helps you get to know yourself a little better so you can see just how ridiculous these thoughts are all the time. And what it also does is gives you more control over your attention. Now, it's going to take a long time for most people to get to a place where they're clear-minded in their meditation, and that's okay. Don't take anything seriously, guys. Remember that. Nothing in your life. Take nothing seriously. Only sincerely. Curiosity. Genuine, childlike curiosity to everything. And just be happy in the moment. And just keep taking your thoughts back to breathing. Keep taking them back to breathing, because getting to a place of clarity and calmness like that is so important for everything. You can see why I help people with anxiety, because it's like on the end of that spectrum from clarity and calm. And I figure if I start there, I can work everybody right back to here. And then I can take all these people out there that just think that their lives are fine and, well, maybe I'd like to be happier. I can show them how to really, really enjoy life and wake up like a 2.5-year-old, like I try to wake up every day. Practicing gratitude, being grateful. I've been in places in my life that I didn't feel grateful for anything. And there are moments when like my anger gets the best of me and I lose sight of that for a little bit, and it's awful. And the truth is, guys, it's abundant. You can be grateful for so much in your lives right now, and no matter where you are. And I've talked to homeless people that have turned their mindsets around significantly in just a few days, and we have air. A lot of us have clean water. We have the sun. We have these bodies. To a certain extent, we have a lot of control over these things. We have the ability to think. And since we have the ability to think, we have the ability to reshape our entire experience as humans. So Laura says that I should do a video on couples where one has anxiety and depression and the other one doesn't. That's tough, being with someone who doesn't get it. I know. So I will. I'll definitely do that, Laura. And I'll keep you guys posted in the group. Are you in the group, Laura? There's a link for the group in this too, and in the banner above my profile picture. Get in the group if you're not in the group. But I'll definitely do that, guys. That's super important because handling it properly can really help to help heal and to move forward. And I do couples therapy and stuff too, guys. So if you're into that or interested in that kind of thing, let me know. I do private consulting and coaching and all that kind of stuff. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with, the last little mind-blowing thing for the 2 people that are left on here or whatever it is. So I want to describe something to you. When you take, and I learned this through Deepak Chopra, who, love him or hate him, he's full of some awesome wisdom. If you zoom in on your hand with the microscope and you zoom into the cells, you got all these cells stacked together, right? Then you zoom in onto the cells and you get down to like the molecules and the compounds, and then you get down to the atoms. And when you get down to the atomic level and you get down to quantum, the distance between the proton and the neutron and the revolving electron, the space between that is something like if the sun were the proton and the neutron, the nucleus, the electron would be something like the distant edge of our solar system. Now, I don't really care how accurate that is. It's pretty darn accurate one way or another. But what I want you guys to think about is that if that's true, which it is, the space between everything is infinitely bigger than the space that the actual particles take up. So if you dive deep enough and zoom in close enough to the human body, to water, to anything, the space in between everything is more than the actual particles that make up the things themselves. So you are less you than you are you, if that makes sense. You're more empty space than you are full space on that quantum level. So, what the heck is reality? That's a good meditation too, to kind of picture yourself zooming in onto that void. It's really calming. Laura says that hurt my brain. It's wild. Think about it enough and it starts to become a very interesting and calming experience, because then you come back and you're this human consciousness, this consciousness that can affect things on that quantum level just by paying attention to them. All right, Amy says, I've been wanting to do a chat like this on here and I don't know how to do it. How do you put it on here? Amy, are you talking about how do you do a live video? Because that's what this is. If you go to post something, you hit live video, and then it puts the chat. Like, people can chat while you're on. But if not, shoot me a voice message or something, and we'll figure out what you're talking about. But guys, that's about as deep as I think that I should go today. And if I could do anything for you, let me know. I love all of you. I think a minute 11 or an hour and 11 minutes is a great place to stop. Peace and love. Practice, practice, practice. Let's rewire those brains for happiness. And see you guys next time on the Kale channel.